starting with the design of the EQE from the side, I really like the sleek and elegant design of the EQE. Mercedes-Benz have done a really good job on designing of the EQE. Okay, so when I first saw the EQE in picture, I wasn't really sold about the EQE because it kind of just looks bulbous to me. But then having the EQE in person is a really nice and elegant design. So there are some few design cues on the side of this EQE for you to know that it's an electric car. First of all, the door handles are flush with this electric car. So when you get close to the cars with the keys in your pocket, the door handles present themselves, which is really nice. Okay, so first of all, what I really love about this EQE is the glass here is actually a double glazed glass to make the interior just much more quiet and refined. From the design, there are no much crazy lines going on the side of this Benz, which is actually nice. It gives it a really nice and futuristic look, which I really love. All right, the wheels of this EQE are also very good. These are 21-inch wheels, and I love the design of this EQE. They kind of contrast with the black color of this EQE with your AMG badging here, which is actually nice. On the back of this car, I like this ducktail spoiler here, which gives the EQE a really nice and sporty character. Overall, from the side of the EQE, the design of this EQE is really, really nice. Okay, so some noteworthy things on the side of this EQE I would like to mention. Apart from the EQE badging here, on this side panel here, you may wonder, what is this side panel? Is this the charging port? It's not actually the charging port. When you open this, it's actually where you fill in the wiper washer fluid for this EQE. Which brings me to something about the EQE that I would like to mention. So keep on watching the video. The hood here, or the panel here in front, it's not openable. You cannot open the front of this EQE's panel. Okay, so when I got this car from Mercedes, I asked them why the EQE doesn't have a front trunk like other electric cars. And then they mentioned something which I think is really important that you know in this video. Okay, so the EQE actually has an air filtration system inside this car. It can actually filter the air to give you high air quality according to what Mercedes say. So the air filtration system is actually in the front of this EQE, where the trunk or the front boot is supposed to be. The air filtering system is actually in the front, so you cannot open the front of this car. To me, it's kind of a downside because, of course, electric cars actually have that feature where they have a boot in front, such as the Tesla and some other electric cars. But then it's what you get from Mercedes because of the air filtration system. And I actually love the Mercedes badge here. It doesn't have the standing 3-point star like an S-Class, but having the Mercedes badge here is actually good. Okay, so the charge port of the EQE is conveniently located at the back side of this EQE, which is actually good. To open the charge port is relatively easy. You just open it and it pops out automatically. Okay, so this EQE I have here is actually 100 kilowatt-hour battery capacity with a 90 kilowatts usable battery capacity. So Mercedes, just like Volkswagen, does that so that the battery would have more extended lifespan, which is actually good. Okay, so charging this EQE, you can actually charge this EQE with a 176 kilowatts DC charger, which can charge this EQE from 0 to 80% in about 28 minutes, which is actually really good. And while I was using this EQE, charging up the EQE is really nice and easy. All right, so the range of this EQE is actually very good. Because of this sleek design, it makes the EQE a really, really efficient car. So this 90 kilowatt-hour battery capacity can actually take this EQE 525 kilometers, which is really, really magnificent. So talking about power of the EQE, this 350 plus version I have here is actually equipped with a 292 horsepower electric motor, which drives only the rear wheels of this EQE. So this EQE is actually rear wheel drive and about 350 Newton meters of torque, propelling this EQE in a respectable 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, which is really fast. Some noteworthy things I love about the back design of this EQE is this light bar which stems across the whole width of the EQE, which is really nice. And then I like the design details Mercedes have used to actually show that this car is also an electric car. Inside the brake light, it's actually shaped like an electric coil. And all the EQ versions from Mercedes-Benz actually have this design feature with electric coils shaped brake lights, which I really love. I actually love the way they've designed the rear diffuser of the EQE. Makes it really more sporty and, you know, elegant from the back of the EQE. All right, so to get into the boot of the EQE is a relatively easy process. The Mercedes badge here is actually the boot popper. You just press it and the boot opens, which is really nice. And for boot capacity of the EQE, it's not really that large. And I was hoping that the EQE's boot would open from the glass up, but it opens like a normal traditional sedan, which to some people is a downside. You won't be taking a lot of things in this EQE. The boot capacity of the EQE is not really that large, and then you don't have a front trunk, which to me is a downside. But then there's still respectable amount of boot space in the EQE. You have your charging cables here, and then under you still have more storage space under the boot of the EQE. And of course, the EQE is also power closing, so close. And I really like the design. All in all, I really love the design of the EQE. Mercedes-Benz have actually made a nicely shaped electric car here. It doesn't look that futuristic, but then it's really elegant and nice, which I really like. All right, so let's hop inside of this EQE and see how plush and sophisticated it is inside the EQE. In back of this Mercedes-Benz EQE, it's actually a really nice place to be. The back of this car is just so nice and comfortable. I mean, starting from space, the EQE actually has a long wheelbase. Of course, you can see I have tons of new room. I have a lot of space to stretch. Now, this EQE is actually equipped with the panoramic glass roof, although it's actually divided into two sections. But then it's still good because you can get more light in the back of this EQE, which is nice. And then the seats are just so soft and plush. Like, I really love the material quality and the high design material used in this car. Some noteworthy things about this EQE: it actually has its own temperature control for the backseat passengers, which I really love. And then you can control it with this soft touch screen here at the bottom of the EQE, and you can use it to control your individual temperature. So you may wonder, where are the cup holders in the back of this EQE? All right, so the cup holders in the back of this EQE, Mercedes and sophisticated engineering. This is like over engineering to me. You first press this panel here, and it brings out like a pen holder. And then to reveal the cup holders, you press it more, and then the cup holders just wonderfully present themselves to you, which is just so nice. I mean, now automakers are just putting some ugly cup holders in the middle here. No, Mercedes have actually done a good job in engineering a cup holder mechanism for this EQE, which I really love. The material choice and the material design and quality of this interior is just top-notch, robustly and beautifully built. I really love the back of this EQE. But then the main place where the magic happens is in front of this EQE, in front of the Mercedes-Benz, and this is where all the magic happens in this EQE. I mean, the design of the front of this EQE, it's just so wonderful and magnificent. I mean, everywhere you touch, every material you feel is just high quality material. From the top of the dashboard, and of course there's like this precise stitching on the top of this dashboard. I really love the way the EQE just slopes downward towards you. I really love the control and the infotainment system, the way it has been, arranged in the EQE, which is actually really nice. And then I love the way Mercedes-Benz have actually designed and integrated the air vent into this nice flowing piece of design, which goes and embraces you round the dashboard and actually to the door of this car. And then of course this glossy material here, which is actually good. And then you have some charging ports here in the Mercedes-Benz EQE, and then a wireless charger here. These are USB Type-C. And I actually love the cup holders in the Mercedes-Benz EQE, the way they operate. You can push them out of the way. To activate the cup holders back, you press here and the cup holders come back. Or if you want more space, you can actually push the cup holders out of the way, which is actually nice. Let's get into the infotainment system of the EQE. So we start up the Mercedes-Benz EQE and the screen actually comes on. So the EQE's infotainment system actually has, user profiles. You can actually set your user profile by activating the fingerprint here, which is actually nice. So I'm going to continue with my user profile. Now, at the bottom part of this infotainment system is where you have some controls for the EQE. So on this dynamic button here is actually to control the driving modes. Yeah, the driving modes of the Mercedes-Benz EQE. You have eco mode, you have comfort mode, you have sports mode, and then you have individual mode. And I actually like the way the graphics, when they sound, it's activated with a sound. Just take a listen to that. Listen. Did you hear that? Sports. Individual. I actually like that is nice design detail for Mercedes-Benz EQE. And then the next button here are your park controls button. When you activate the button, I actually like the 360 degree camera in the Mercedes-Benz EQE. Mercedes are actually doing a wonderful job. In fact, the lights actually activate even when I press the brake lights here. You can see the brake lights on the screen on the Mercedes-Benz here in the screen goes off, and when I press the brake, they actually come on, which is actually a nice design detail, which is actually nice. This is just so good for parking the Mercedes-Benz in and out of tight parking spots, which I really, really like. The next button here is the EQ button. This just brings out the electric charge and then the information about the EQE. You can actually see your range here, and then you have your charging. Right now we are at 67% of the Mercedes-Benz EQ with about 307 kilometers of range, and then you can check your battery consumption here. And then this car, since when I got the Mercedes-Benz EQ, I've been consuming about 24.7 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. And then the next button here is this button with the car function. So this actually controls most of the car functions in this car. So then you can control the heads-up display. There's actually a really nice heads-up display in the Mercedes-Benz EQ. You can turn that off or you can turn that on. This is for the stabilization control, your chains. This is actually used to lower and increase the height of the Mercedes-Benz EQE. You can actually raise the Mercedes-Benz up because this EQE is fitted with adaptive air suspensions, which makes the EQE very nice and supple over speed bumps and when you drive. So it makes that really, really comfortable. You can also lower it down, which is actually nice. And then you have your park button here, which is actually nice. And then this Mercedes-Benz actually also fitted with active lane keep assist as a driving function and the steering assistant function. So it can actually control itself to keep you in lane, which is actually good. I really love that on the Mercedes-Benz EQE. And on the next button, you have your hazard lights, and then this is for the fingerprint, and this button is just to turn off the infotainment system. You can choose to turn off the whole display, or if the display is just giving you so much light at night, you can just switch off just the display of the Mercedes-Benz EQE, but then you still have your climate controls situated here at the bottom of the Mercedes-Benz EQE. And I actually love the fact that they're actually situated at one point of the Mercedes-Benz EQE. They don't move. Although I would have loved physical buttons, but this climate control situation is relatively easy to use while I was using the Mercedes-Benz EQE, which is actually nice. So let's turn that back on again. Then you have your mute button, and then there's no volume knob in the Mercedes-Benz EQE. You just use this to increase the volume or to reduce the volume of the EQE. So let's mute that up. I really love the way this infotainment system is. You can actually swipe down to see your vehicle functions, which is like a shortcut. So the climatic temperature controls here can be used for just the driver, and the one on the right side can be used just for the passengers. And if you want to put up the climatic menu, you actually press this button and it brings up the climatic menu and the seat controls, which is actually nice. The Mercedes-Benz can actually automatically measure the height of the driver and then adjust the steering and the seats to a comfortable and nice driving position for the driver, which I really like. Very, very intelligent system from Mercedes-Benz. This infotainment system is really easy to use. It's very responsive. I really, really like that. In fact, being close to the sea, you can actually see the water, the reflection of the water on the infotainment system, which is actually nice. This is like one of the best, infotainment map system I've used, and it's very easy to put in a destination. In the Mercedes-Benz EQE, you just come up here and then you can type in your destination, which is actually really, really nice. Here we have the home button here, which you just press. And one thing about the infotainment system of the Mercedes-Benz EQE, it actually vibrates to let you know that you've actually activated a setting, which is actually nice. It's kind of a way to mimic physical buttons, but I actually like the way Mercedes-Benz have done that in the EQE. So you have your EQE controls here, which is also the same control here. So we go back, we don't need that. And then you can install some apps on the EQE. You actually have a browser and some nice functions in the EQE, which is really nice. You can actually play a game in the infotainment system of this EQE. It's a really nice Easter egg in Mercedes-Benz actually building a nice function. Maybe while you charge the car, you can actually put on a game and play in the Mercedes-Benz EQE. Yeah, I really love that Mercedes-Benz have actually installed some apps for you to use and entertain yourself while you use the Mercedes-Benz EQE, which is actually really interesting. So we go back on that. Now you have other settings for the car. You have your store. You can where you can install apps from the Mercedes store, and then you have your vehicle settings here. Now there are some noteworthy things I would like to talk about in the vehicle settings here. When we go to the vehicle settings, Mercedes have actually synthesized a sound in this Mercedes. When you drive the Mercedes, actually plays in some nice sounds. You actually have two combination of sound. You have the vivid flux. So when we activate that, this is how it sounds. Which is actually nice. It sounds like a sci-fi gaming kind of stuff, which I really love. And then you have silver waves. So this one is actually trying to mimic the way an engine sounds. This is how it sounds actually.
it sounds like an engine, but of course it's an electric car, it doesn't have an engine. But then I like that Mercedes-Benz have put that into the system of the Mercedes-Benz, which is actually nice. So of course you have some comfort settings in the Mercedes-Benz EQE. Now just some normal settings. You have your vehicle assistant. It has collision avoidance system. It has your driving system. It actually has sign recognition, traffic sign recognition, and all those automatic systems. And then creep mode here is something that I like because electric cars have regenerative braking, and sometimes they can slow themselves down to a complete stop. But when you have creep mode on, when the car slows itself down, instead of stopping, it just creeps on gradually, which I really like. That is really, really nice. Aside Tesla, MBUX is the best infotainment system, and this is the latest of MBUX, and is actually nicely integrated into this infotainment system of the Mercedes-Benz EQE. So we'll move over to the driver's information display, which most of the magic happens. Now, I really, really love the driver's information system of this Mercedes-Benz EQE. It's really clear and crisp with high graphics, which is actually really, really nice. So to control the driver's information display of the Mercedes-Benz EQE are actually the controls on the left side of the Mercedes-Benz EQE. And so these buttons here are just for the semi-autonomous system of the Mercedes-Benz EQE, which I really love. And then the one on the top of the steering is to control the infotainment system, which I really like. And this screen is quite configurable. You can just press the home button and you can actually configure the screen to different screen setups you like. Here's understated, which it just shows some clock and then your speed. I don't really like that. Or actually the sports display, which is actually nice. And then when you accelerate, you actually hear that sports sound, which has been synthesized. And then you can actually choose also from classic. This is actually nice, but then you just have the map in the middle, which is also good. And then you have your full map view. This is just so configurable and nice. The same high definition graphics as the infotainment system also here. And then you press the home button again. You can actually put on the assistant system of this car, and then here it's marked ready. That means the semi-autonomous system of the Mercedes-Benz EQE can work, which is actually really good. And then this is just for your service information system. I really, really love the configuration of this infotainment system. It's just so nice and easy to use. You can configure everything from the display, and then you can change to your best liking. So we're going to leave it at sports. And then I love all the informations here. This is for your traffic sign recognition. And of course, I mentioned that this Mercedes-Benz actually has heads-up display, which is actually nice and clear. And also, when you change the view, the heads-up display actually responds to every input you put on the driver's information display here, which is actually good. And now the controls on the right side of the steering wheel are all to control your radio function and to control the infotainment system here. So this, you have your navigation buttons to go to your home screen, just to control the infotainment system here. And then this is for your controls. And one thing I love about this is that it is just so easy to use, because these buttons are actually capacitive soft touch buttons. So you don't need to press, you can just swipe your hands over them and then they activate, which is really, really nice and engaging. The steering column is actually automatically adjustable. You move this up and you move this down, and the steering column can actually adjust itself automatically, which is a nice thing to have in an electric luxury Mercedes-Benz EQE. All in all, this infotainment system and the Mercedes-Benz EQE is a beautifully designed car, and I really love that. And of course, this car has actually been built by Mercedes as an electric car from the ground up. So thanks guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.